Aloha and welcome to Home Sweet Home Hawaii, your go-to channel for all things real estate in Hawaii. Today, we're going to take you on a tour of one of the best towns on Oahu, the beach town of Kailua. We'll be pointing out some streets, some of the top neighborhoods, shopping centers, schools, and popular scenic spots. So buckle up as we embark on this adventure to see if Kailua is a great fit for you to call home. So let's dive right in. Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Home Sweet Home Hawaii. Whether your move is in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call or shoot us a text or send us an email. Our contact info is below. Here at Home Sweet Home Hawaii, we're here to make your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Aloha. Okay, so here we are on Zoom, and I'm going to share with you on Google Maps the whole area of Kailua. And as you can see, actually my backdrop is Lanikai Beach, with the Mokes, the Twin Islands behind me, and I'll share my screen now. Okay, so here we have an overview of the island of Oahu, and Kailua is right here, and it's on the east side of the island, what we call the windward side, and not to be confused with the west side of the island here, which we call the leeward side. And of course, the top of the island is the North Shore, and then we have the southeast side. I'll zoom in here, and here we have the Honolulu Airport and downtown Honolulu and Waikiki and Diamond Head area, what we call the southeast quadrant of the island. So back to Kailua, and I'll plug in the zip code here. Zip code is 96734. So there are three main routes to get to Kailua. So if you're traveling from the airport or downtown, you can go through Pearl Harbor and take the H3, which is a beautiful scenic drive through the mountains. It's absolutely stunning. So you would take the H3 all the way eastbound, or you can take the 63, which is the Like, or you take the 61, which we call the Poly Highway. Now, if you take the H3 all the way up eastbound, you'll exit 14, which is Makapu Boulevard, to put you into Kailua. But if you kept going straight, that puts you in the neighborhood of Ali'i Park, as well as right here, the Marine Corps base of Hawaii. So again, when you're thinking about Kailua town, you would take Makapu Boulevard, exit off the H3, and take a right on Oniava, and that just takes you going straight into the heart of Kailua. The 61 Poly Highway eventually turns into Kailua Road, which takes you straight into town. One of the main routes from town is the Like, which is the 63, and that eventually connects with the H3 right here to take you into Kailua. The H3 highway is quite a beautiful drive. It's right in the middle of the Ko'olau Mountains, and the tunnel, here's an interesting tidbit that the tunnels cost $350 million to build. It took 7 years of work to construct back in 1997, and the grand total for the entire H3 freeway was $1.1 billion. Back in the day, in 1997, of course, it was an insane amount of money. And let me switch you over to a neighborhood map, courtesy of Oahu RE. And as you can see here, we've got the highlights of the neighborhoods. And for more detailed information on the neighborhoods, check out our videos, the pros and cons of living in Kailua, as well as our Kailua vlog tour. And there are links to those videos in the description below. So this map is courtesy of Oahu RE, and what I'll do is I'll show you coming from the H3, the top of Kailua, first, and then I'll show you coming from the 61 going into Kailua town. If you continue straight on the H3, it'll lead you right into the Marine Corps base, as well as Aikahi Park. And just so you know, Aikahi Park has one of the best school districts not just in Kailua, but all of Oahu. We always encourage you to check out niche.com as well as greatschools.org for all the data on the schools. But I do know that a lot of families desire Aikahi Park for the public school system there. So you also have the Kalaheo hillside here. And as you exit Makapu Boulevard and you take a right on Oniava, that'll head you right into the heart of Kailua. So you have the top portion of Kailua is divided into a couple quadrants here. And there are three main streets, main veins through Kailua. There's Oniava Street, you have Maluniu Avenue, you have Kainalu Drive, and you have Kalaheo Avenue. I should mention there are 22 neighborhoods throughout Kailua. So we have Aikahi Park that I mentioned before, Kalaheo Hillside. In this section we have Kailaupaku, we have Coconut Grove, we have the Kalama Tract, we have Beachside. Here we have Kualai Tract, Kailua Town, Kailua Estates, Enchanted Lake, Bluestone, which is a community of townhomes, and Lanikai Beach. Where's Kaimolino? So the homes that border Kailua Bay will have the most expensive homes. The closer you are to the beach, the more expensive the homes and the land value. So that being said, Beachside and Lanikai are two of the nicest neighborhoods in Kailua. Single family homes in Beachside and Lanikai usually start in the $3.5 million range, depending where you are and location of the beach. If you want, you can buy into those neighborhoods in the $2.5 million price range, but they're going to be fixer-uppers, or you're going to need a complete renovation or rehab. Typically, homes are going to start in $3.5 million, $5 million price range, and they can go as high as $10 million, $15 million. It's not uncommon to have an oceanfront home listed for $25 million in either Beachside or Lanikai. So the Beachside community, you can buy a home for about $2.5 million in average condition, but that won't have any views of the beach. And it's usually in a couple of blocks back, and it will need complete renovation. And then homes can go upwards of $30 million if you're on the HE. And there's currently an estate on the market for $50 million as of March 2024. And Lanikai, fixers are in the $2 million with limited views. The highest price, most recent sale, was 2 years ago for close to $24 million. And that happened to be a double lot, and it was a cash purchase. Just a lot, if there's ever one available. The highest price lot was sold in Beachside for $8.5 million, and that was about 2 years ago. Kailua is a small town, and you don't have any single-family homes in the town itself. There are some condominiums. If you want a detached single-family house, you're going to go out into the outer neighborhoods. The more affordable homes in Kailua tend to be Coconut Grove, where you can get into the market around $900,000, but they're usually going to be requiring lots of upgrades, lots of updates. Typically, the average price point in Coconut Grove is about $1.2 million for a single-family house, and the closer you get to the water, it just increases a bit in value. So let's go through the neighborhoods and talk about the different price points for each neighborhood. So starting with Aikahi Park, you have townhomes and you have single-family residences. The townhomes are called Aikahi Gardens, and they're 2 and 3 bedroom townhomes, and they sell between $650,000 to $800,000. And the single-family homes range in price from $1.4 to $1.8 million. Then you have Kalaheo Hillside, where you can get a fixer around $1.1 million, and they usually go up to about $2 million, $2.25. Then the next neighborhood over is Kaimolino. It's a great neighborhood where homes are typically around $2 million with no view to over $8.5 million if you're on the water, if you've got the water views. So all these other neighborhoods right here, Ko'olaupoku, Kalama, Coconut Grove, as I mentioned, typically the average price point for Kalama is about 1.7 million. And then here's Kailua Town, where there aren't any single family homes in Kailua Town. Kailua Town may have a couple small beach cottages, but homes are typically condos in Kailua Town. There's a high rise there called the Windward Passage. One bedrooms start in the mid 400s and then go as high as 1.25 million for 3-bedroom. And I've seen them go over close to 1.5 million for the penthouse. There are several low-rise buildings, communities varying in price, starting in the 500,000s for one complex called Gardenia Manor, another Ko'olau Vista, and Poinciana Manor. And then there's Opulani in Kailua. But I would say the nicest is the most recently developed Ka Malanai at Kailua, which is just steps away from Kailua Beach State Park. And the cool thing about Ka Malanai at Kailua, it's just located right there in the heart of Kailua Town. We've got tons of shopping and restaurants and grocery stores right at your doorstep. So you're in Kailua Town, of course, you're surrounded by some great neighborhoods here. And further to the beach and to the east, they tend to get more up in price towards Lanikai. So Kulai Tract, for example, it's an excellent neighborhood of where lots are about 10,000 square feet. And homes are typically in the 2.5 million price point. I've seen people spend upwards of 1.5 to 1.8 million for a tear down home just for the land value, where they'll raise it and they'll tear down the property and construct a new home. Same thing with Kailua and the Kailua Estates. Now, Enchanted Lake is a really desirable community because you're not too far from Kailua. You can just bike into Kailua Town if you want. It's surrounded by a spectacular lake, as you'd have guessed, and it's a really family-friendly area. Seems like all the neighbors tend to know each other. And here, the pink is Bluestone. And so the Bluestone is a townhouse community in a forest-like setting, and they're really large townhomes, and they're on the hillside overlooking their fairways, so the Mid-Pacific Country Club. And some of them also have ocean views. They range in price from 1.2 to 1.6 million. But keep in mind the maintenance fees are around $1,600 a month. Now, Hillcrest, people like this neighborhood because you can have views of Kailua Bay, as well as the Mid-Pacific Golf Course, and views of Enchanted Lake. And some homes can see these dramatic sunsets over the Ko'olau Mountains. And of course, you'll have easy access to Lanikai and Kailua Beach. And then, of course, Lanikai. And I think many locals would consider Lanikai probably the nicest neighborhood on the windward side. It's famous, of course, for Lanikai Beach and the Mokes. And it's there's one way in and one way out. Okay, so I took you into Kailua from the H3 and then hitting up the neighborhoods from the northeast down. Now I want to take you from the H1 and the Poly Highway into Kailua. So the 61, which is the Poly Highway, will generally be the most convenient route to take from downtown, because it's usually a straight shot here. So take the 61 all the way east, northeast, into Monowili, where it turns into Kailua Road, into town. Into Kailua Town. I'll switch back to the neighborhoods here. And just so you know, the 61 is famous for the New Wanu Poly Lookout here, which is a spectacular scenic spot right off the Poly. Okay, so you'll take the 61, the Poly, into Monowili, and the Monowili neighborhood. Let me tell you a little about that. The Monowili neighborhood is off the 61, and it's a secluded neighborhood off some curvy, windy roads. You'll see all these homes that were built in the 60s and 70s. Really desirable because it's a convenient location for quick access to the Poly Highway, as well as Castle Hospital. So the Castle Hospital is actually it's called Adventist Health Castle Hospital, but this is the primary hospital for everyone that lives in Kailua and Kaneohe, as well as Waimanalo. if they don't want to trek into town. It's adjacent to the Kailua Town Farmers Market. And so back to the neighborhoods, you have Kukanano, and you also have Pohakupu, and the average sales prices for these homes are in the 1.4, 1.5 range. But as you go up the 61 and right before it turns into Kailua Road to get to Enchanted Lake and Keolu Hills, you would take a right on Route 72, which is called Kalani Anaole Highway. And if you continue on the Kalani Anaole Highway down south, it takes you right into Waimanalo. So before Kalani Anaole takes you into Waimanalo, you would take a left onto Keolu Drive, and you have Keolu Hills on the right, and then it takes you down into Enchanted Lake. And if you continue going south before Waimanalo, if you continue going south down Kalani Anaole, instead of taking a left on Keolu Drive, if you take a right onto Old Kalani Anaole, back here in this neighborhood is one of the best kept secrets, I believe, of Kailua in Olomana Heights. So be sure to check out our pros and cons video on Kailua as well as our vlog tour so you can find out about what I consider one of the best kept secrets of Kailua, this incredible subdivision in Olomana Heights. So Kailua is a really neat beach town. It's really family friendly. There are tons of restaurants and boutique shops, and you see families just riding around on their bikes. It's really popular, of course, because of Kailua Beach Park and Lanikai Beach, and it's just a really cool, quaint town. There are tons of restaurants and boutique shops. There is a Target there, and a Whole Foods market, and a Down to Earth, which is our version of Whole Foods. Got great coffee shops. You've got the Manoa Chocolate and Wine Bar, bread and breakfast, a very popular spot for breakfast, for brunch. And there are a couple breweries here, Lanikai Brewing Company, and another cool restaurant is Maui Brewing Company, right there in town. For breakfast, you've got the popular Over Easy. You've got Moke's Bed and Breakfast. You've got UFC Gym. Of course, the Starbucks. Maui Tacos in Kailua. And Fat Boys is a spot for your Hawaiian-style lunch plates. And for the best burgers in town, they got a Teddy's Big Burgers. Kailua is the beach town that's located about 12 miles northeast of downtown Honolulu. And it's on the windward side of the island, what we call the east side. And it's called the windward side because it has trade winds coming in from the Pacific Ocean. Now, the Kailua real estate is made up of several different areas with about 20 neighborhoods. And like most towns on Oahu, there are dozens of micro neighborhoods. So if you're a buyer or an investor, keep in mind that even though the average price point for a single family home is in all Kailua is about 1.7 million. Typically, the neighborhoods closer to the beach are going to start in the $2.5 million price range, and some homes go as high as 25 million on the beachfront, depending on the lot, the size of the lot, and of course, how spectacular the home is. Kailua is one of the top towns people like to live on in the island because it's really family friendly for a bunch of reasons. There's a strong sense of community here. People like the schools, and there's lots of parks and playgrounds. And you'll see families just riding around town on their bikes, just out for a cruise, and going to shops and restaurants. So that's one of the reasons why Kailua is a very popular market for buyers, which also means that there are a lot of homes and condos that tend to sell very quickly when they hit the market. So if you're looking to buy in Kailua, it's really important to act fast if you see something that you like. And here's Kailua Beach. It's a 2.5 mile stretch. It's super beautiful. It's white sand, nice powder sand, and it can get a bit windy though. But if you're an outdoor enthusiast, if you're into parasailing or into windsurfing, this is definitely the beach for you. And then Lanikai Beach, the next beach over, is a lot smoother. You don't get as much wind. And people love that spot, not just for laying out and hanging out, but it's a great place. But the water's more calm for paddle boarding and swimming. And that's also where the mokes are, those two small islands, two twin islands, which are bird sanctuaries. And you often see people kayaking over there, taking their lunch over there and going there for the afternoon for some easy hikes. So Kailua is a really charming town, and it's got a nice strong sense of community. It's just laid back. It's a relaxed lifestyle. It's got a small town feel, but it's still being close to Honolulu. So that's why a lot of people are attracted to it. There are tons of fun little boutique shops and events in the community. It's filled with trendy little cafes. There's a weekly farmers market, but be forewarned though, it's a really popular place for tourists as well. So during tourist season, you'll see an influx of people biking around, walking around. It might be a little difficult finding a parking space when you're out and about running your errands. But overall, Kailua is a really great place to live for those that can afford it and looking for a nice, relaxed, and laid-back lifestyle. Here's Kailua Beach Park in Kailua Bay, Kailua Beach, which stretches 2.5 miles. Here's beautiful Lanikai Beach here, and you've got the mokes right here. And Beachside is the neighborhood that lines up most of the Kailua Bay, of course the neighborhood of Lanikai with Lanikai Beach. So if you're a nature enthusiast and you love to hike, Kailua offers 3 incredible hikes. We have here 3 peaks, which is the Mount Olomana Trail off Olomana Heights, and then we have the Kaiva Ridge Trail, and we have, of course, the Lanikai Pillbox Trail, which is one of the most popular hikes on the windward side, if not all of Oahu. And if you're a golfing enthusiast, one of the nicest golf courses on the whole island is right on the Marine Corps base, and it's a Kaneohe Clipper Golf Course, otherwise known as Clipper Golf Course. So to get on the base, you definitely need a military ID. If you're not a military service member, your friend in the military will have to bring you on base to play here. And it is one of the most beautiful golf courses on the island. As you can see here, a picture from that 13th hole here. Got incredible views of the beach and the Kolau mountain range. It's absolutely stunning. And that's a wrap on our map tour of Kailua. If you've got questions on anything we didn't cover, or you're interested in learning more about Kailua and gaining a deeper knowledge of the real estate market in all of Hawaii for that matter, feel free to reach out to us. You can give us a call or send us an email or shoot us a text. My contact info is below. We're happy to help you navigate in this competitive market and help you buy your dream home or investment property. Our goal here is to make your process as smooth and stress-free as possible. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video to be helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the like button for us, and tap the notification bell. That way you can be first to know when we publish a new video and keep you informed in the Hawaii real estate market here. Mahalo, and until next time, aloha.